Yeah, it's our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm
about
too
to go
lost.
off, the speakers can't even handle me. Giving what I got, nobody's gonna drain my energy. And I will never stop, I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And no, I am not going through life regretfully. I'd rather work non-stop, what they call incessantly, than work some odd job just to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy, I'm getting ill. Forgotten souls, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop off your ball. I got squat, I fall, I'm not bought, I'm sold. My stock rocks, it's gold. Hey, knock, knock, she home. It's shit, talk to close. I ain't stopping though, it's hip-hop, you know. Or is it rock and roll? I'm not dropping down, no, my pocket's grown. You can't stop the show, so get rockin' on.
So let me break it all down for you.
I ain't never giving up, I ain't never
You know
giving
I'm
up.
taking that crown from you.
I ain't worried about you, I ain't
So let me break.
WrestleMania, the showcase of the immortals. Throughout the decades, it has given us countless number of moments to remember. From Vince McMahon welcoming us to WrestleMania, to Jerry Lawler declaring WrestleMania 30, Yeselmania. But which ones are the top moments? And here are the top 20 WrestleMania moments. Number 20. The Rock and Ronda Rousey attack Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. WrestleMania 31. At WrestleMania 31, the Authority Triple H and Stephanie McMahon came out to announce the attendance for the event. As they did, they started mocking and insulting the crowd. This brought out no other than the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock. The three exchanged words until McMahon stepped things up, slapping The Rock and told him to leave her ring. As the Great One was not about to hit a woman, he did so. But as he left the ring, he spotted in the front row the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey. The Rock then helps Ronda out of the crowd and into the ring, where they put Triple H and McMahon in their place, to the approval of the crowd. Number 19. The Hardys make their return. WrestleMania 33. Going into WrestleMania 33, a triple threat tag team ladder match had been set up. The champs Anderson and Gallows were set to defend against The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and Enzo and Big Cass. But as the match was getting ready to start, The New Day, who were host of the night, came out to say a fourth team had been added. The New Day then made a motion to the ring like they were the fourth team, only to move aside when the Hardys' music started. The reaction to them coming out shook the stadium, as a jubilant crowd watched on as Matt and Jeff won the Raw Tag Team titles. Number 18. Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit celebrate WrestleMania 20. Going into WrestleMania 20, Eddie was set to defend his WWE title against the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, which he successfully did. In the main event, the Royal Rumble winner, Benoit, was set to challenge for the world's title in a triple threat match versus HBK Shawn Michaels and champion Triple H. In a classic match, the Rabid Wolverine tapped out the champion Triple H to win the title, as confetti rained down in celebration. Benoit's longtime friend and WWE champion Eddie Guerrero came out to share with him as they were both champions. Number 17. Shawn Michaels dives off the ladder. WrestleMania 10. Going into WrestleMania 10, a ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon was set up to find out who was the true Intercontinental Champion. Back when it still meant something. Please don't let Gunther's work go to waste, as both men were claiming they were the rightful champion. But at one point in the epic legendary match, HBK climb up the ladder and proceed to dive off it, onto Razor Ramon, in a clip that has been relived countless number of times. Number 16. Shawn Michaels retires. WrestleMania 26. HBK was putting his career on the line for one more chance to break The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, having failed in doing so the year before. In a grueling battle, one of the best of both men's careers, The Undertaker topped Michaels for a second straight year, sending Mr. WrestleMania off into the sunset. Number 15. The Rock and Hulk Hogan Face-Off. WrestleMania 18. After the WWE bought WCW and did the underwhelming Invasion storyline, the bigger names of WCW came to WWE to set up a Mania match we thought we'd never see. Icon versus Icon. The Golden Era versus the Attitude Era. The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. As the two stood face to face in the Skydome, the crowd were wild, emitting electricity felt through the TV, and were completely into this match, which saw The Rock victorious. Number 14. Undertaker's Final Ride. The Boneyard Match. WrestleMania 36. 2020. We all know what was going on. The beginning of a global pandemic. Large-scale events had to be changed. This included WrestleMania 36 being moved into an empty performance center. WWE had to get creative with some of the matches. This included AJ Styles and The Undertaker's match. WWE decided to go with a cinematic match for it, making look more like a Hollywood feature than a normal match. Taking place on an on-site location, the two men fought in what would be The Undertaker's final match, as the triumphant Taker hopped onto his motorcycle to ride off one final time. Number 13. Kofi Mania. WrestleMania 35. Daniel Bryan and the New Day's Kofi Kingston were set to collide for the WWE title, but what makes this magical is how Kofi got there, fighting off adversity, and the WWE Universe powering him forward. In a role the champion Bryan had a few years earlier, Kofi walked into MetLife Stadium a man of destiny. Him and Bryan put out an amazing match, but in the end it was Kofi who had his hand held high as the new WWE champion. Number 12. The Prodigal Son Returns. WrestleMania 38. In 2016, Cody Rhodes, tired of the way his career had been going in WWE, asked to leave the company, betting on himself. Rhodes traveled the world making a name for himself in promotions like Ring of Honor, New Japan, and Impact, before helping create the biggest rival to WWE since the WCW days, AEW. So when Seth freakin' Rollins was given a surprise opponent for WrestleMania, who was it going to be? The American Nightmare had returned. He did in fact bet on himself, and won, with the undesirable coming back undeniable. Number 11. Stone Cold wins the title. WrestleMania 14. At WrestleMania 14, the Attitude Era shot off into high gear. And in what better way to do this than having one of the faces of the last generation square off with the man who would be the face for the new one? Shawn Michaels would defend his WWF Championship against the Texas Rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin, with Iron Mike Tyson as the special enforcer. But in the build-up to the match, Austin looked as he would be in a severe disadvantage, with Tyson joining forces with Michaels and DX, with Austin and Michaels fighting it out. Tyson showed his true colors, counting HBK's shoulders to the mat, giving Austin the win and the title. Number 10. I'm Sorry and I Love You. WrestleMania 24. At WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair was reaching the end of his career, so much so Vince McMahon said the next match the Nature Boy were to lose would be his last. After months of picking up victories, he would go into WrestleMania to face the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. Not ready to call it a career, Flair fought with everything he had, but in the end, HBK was too much for him, and with an emotional sadness on his face, Michaels looked at the once dirtiest player in the game, and said I'm sorry and I love you, as he hit Rick with a sweet chin music that set him into retirement from WWE. Number 9. Once in a Lifetime, The Rock vs. John Cena. WrestleMania 28. 10 years after the Generation vs. Generation match between The Rock and Hogan, the Great One found himself in another showdown with the icon from his era. The verbal barbs the two set on one another over the whole year of build were funny to downright personal. But just like his bout with Hogan, The Rock's standoff with Cena sparked the audience, as he beat Cena in a match that was once in a lifetime. At least till next year. Number 8. Welcome to WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1. This is where it started. There would not be a WrestleMania 17 or 25 or 40 if not for the success of the first WrestleMania. Looking back at the card and spectacle may not be what it is today, but for the time there was nothing like it. The way wrestling is today is because of what happened here. Andre the Giant body-slamming Big John Studd, to Wendy Richter winning the women's title with music megastar Cyndi Lauper by her side. It all set up the main event, the WWF champion Hulk Hogan teaming with Mr. T to face Rowdy Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, giving the feel of a big-time fight. Hogan and Mr. T bested the team of Piper and Orndorff to close out the show. Number 7. Austin's Crimson Mask. WrestleMania 13. WrestleMania 13 or WrestleMania the 13th is looked as not that great, but it did give us a moment that changed history in the business. Bret Hart and Steve Austin were set to have an I Quit match, with the babyface Hart and the heel Austin. The match was good. We wouldn't expect less from these two. But in the final minutes of the contest, the Hitman had Stone Cold locked in a sharpshooter. With blood pouring from his head, Austin refused to give up until he passed out. The match was awarded to Hart, but that wasn't good enough for the excellence of execution as he attacked the rattlesnake afterwards to the boo of the crowd. When Austin got back up, the crowd was behind him cheering and giving him a standing ovation, switching both men's role. Number 6. The Man Comes Around. WrestleMania 35. At WrestleMania 35, we got the first ever women's main event for the show of shows. Both Raw and SmackDown women's titles were on the line in a triple threat, as champions Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey put their titles on the line against the Man, Becky Lynch. Throughout the course of the main event, the three fought and put on a stellar contest. Except the finish. Let's not talk about the finish. That saw Becky Lynch turn into Becky Two Belts. Number 5. The boyhood dream comes true. WrestleMania 12. In a 60-minute Iron Man match, Bret the Hitman Hart defended his WWF title against the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, in what some would say is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. From HBK's entrance, that had Shawn's mentor Jose Lothario walk down to the ring and point to the sky, where Michaels was waiting. The Heartbreak Kid then descended to the ring as flamboyantly as only Mr. WrestleMania could. Then for 60 minutes the two men battle to a 0-0 draw, resulting in a sudden death overtime, where Michaels would pick up the victory and his first WWF title.
The boyhood dream has come true!
Number 4. Brock breaks the streak. WrestleMania 30. At WrestleMania 30, The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar would face off, with the Dead Man's 21-0 WrestleMania winning streak on the line. As the match went on, Lesnar hit 3 F5s on The Undertaker, shocking the world by handing The Undertaker his first ever WrestleMania loss. Number 3. Edge spears Jeff Hardy. WrestleMania 17. WrestleMania 17 is mostly considered the crowning jewel of WrestleManias, with quality match after quality match. But the biggest moment came from the TLC match between the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. At one point during the match, Jeff Hardy climbed up to get the titles. As he was, the ladder was knocked from under him. Hardy then was dangling from the belts. Edge climbs another ladder that was set up in the ring. After reaching the top of the ladder, Edge then jumped and speared Hardy down to the canvas. Number 2. The Heist of the Century. WrestleMania 31. Most of the time when you commit a heist, it's something that will get you locked away for a long time. But at WrestleMania 31, a heist took place that was cheered on by most everyone. The Money in the Bank briefcase holder, Seth Rollins, decided to cash in his opportunity at the WWE title. At the end of the main event match, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns were both down. Seth's music hit as he made his way down. It was then announced that Rollins was cashing in his shot, making it a triple threat. Seth Rollins then proceeded to stomp both the other men, pinning Reigns and winning the WWE title. Now time for some honorable mentions. Wait, 20 is not enough for you. How much more do you want? Let's move on. Number 1. The Slam heard around the world. WrestleMania 3. Here we are. The number 1 spot. The top of the mountain. But what is it? This is the reason we call these WrestleMania moments. At WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan took on Andre the Giant, the immovable object, versus the irresistible force. When Hogan picked up and slammed Andre, the course of wrestling history changed. It's a moment we've relived no matter what age you are. It would be hard to find a fan that doesn't know this moment. Finally! We made it to the end. Did we miss your favorite moment? Leave a comment if you think we missed one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit that notification button.
Break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. I'm taking that crown from you.